Hey guys, welcome to another episode of JDM Masters Pure Drives. And today we're going up the very famous, or rather notorious, mountain road called the Tsubaki Line. It's located somewhere in the deep end of Hakone, which is actually connected to a town called Yugawara. And this is actually for you initial-D fans, astute initial-D fans, the last battle, the final stage in which Takumi fights Shinji. And this is the road that actually winds up all the way to the Mount Taikan, which is also known as the Hakone Turnpike. Now, it's a very interesting course because different sections of it have different characteristics. And the first part here, we're going on the uphill now, and it really resembles a lot like a rally course that you can find in maybe WRC, but in true Japanese toge mountain road fashion. It's very narrow, very windy, and now we've come at the first hairpin. And very interestingly, this is also the area that some of the characters like Itsuki stands and waits for the racers to pass by, especially in the race between Keisuke Takashi and Go Hojo. That famous corner, and you can see where there was that green patch there. And just snaking around on an afternoon, a lot of these corners are second gear, going up to third gear, and you really need to see how the course rhythm just kind of goes in and out. Basically, it's not a course for the faint-hearted. You can imagine like the street races going really full on. It's still a very popular tourist course. Oh, he's letting this pass. Thank you very much. Always say thank you with the double hazard lights. So the good thing is the road surface is pretty smooth, and really the only drawback is like these blind corners, which you must be very comfortable with. We're going in third gear now, and coming up to a lot of corners where you need to brake. And here's another downshift to second. Look through the corner where you can to prevent blind corners. Accelerate out, and then a front wheel drive. It's very easy to you should tap the brakes before you go in. And right corners are a bit blind, there are no mirrors, so always stick to the middle of the road as far as possible. Motorcycles, as you can see, do frequent this road a lot, and it creates a possible danger because for motorcycles to corner effectively, they need to use the width of the road, and sometimes do come into the center line quite a lot. And this is what makes this road hazardous driving in the daytime. At night, which we'll probably do at a later point if you guys want us to. And now I've come up to another slowpoke. Some retiree probably just going up to get a nice view of the mountain. And she does, thank you very much, say thank you, we gave her the hazard lights. And usually, you know, when they see cars coming a bit fast in Japan, they do let you go. And it's just some of the road manners that a lot of Japanese people do have. Of course, you know, it's good not to be too aggressive and try and push. Was here another bike coming? Oh my goodness, that was fast, just coming into the center line like that. So, you know, spatial awareness and ability to react instinctively requires just experience of going in some of these roads. But you can see here, very rhythmic, a lot of third gear, medium speed corners, and I'm turning the steering wheel as little as I can early. So you have off-camber corner like this, guardrails are really close. Really like just going at a nice brisk pace. This is one of the roads that is enjoyable to drive rather than dangerous and taxing like the road Yabutsu Toge. Some of the other roads like in further up in Hakone, like the Nanamagari, that's more interesting than challenging. Another bike going down on his knee, thinks it's some kind of GP racer, but more or less they do try and stick to their their lines, but just in case you find some jokers. We've got a hiker here walking up, just enjoying the nice sunshine. And then we get into the second part of this road where another GP racer. Road starts getting a little bumpy, and some of these undulations and change of camber can affect tire grip. If you're not careful, some of these bumps can throw off your very stiff suspension. So really, I think to enjoy this road in safety, like a lot of these Japanese togeis, you really don't want a car with a very stiff suspension, but it's better to have something that's very compliant on the rebound. Braking in, trail braking, and we still have to reach the midpoint, which is here. This is the car park that Shinji and Mako and Sayuki stand, and they have this conversation where they can see. He says he can see the wings of, or I don't know what, I can't remember what, of Keisuke and Rinhojo, and before he decides that he's got to go back and race. So we're past the second half of the stage now, and it kind of increases in pace a little bit, following these curves. And basically, I've driven on this road countless times, and I remember the rhythm. I remember how each section has different characteristics, and the blind corners are more geared to prepare for. And if you're driving on these roads, I know, and you're not experienced with it, it's always better to hold back until you can get a clear understanding of how the road flows, and it's where you get the blind corners and where you need to be really conservative and brake early. On a car like this, where it's small and lightweight, it's really a lot of fun. I say cars like the 660 or the Roadster or MRS, or even like older Evos or Imprezas, be a lot more fun to drive. Old Civics. So.
We check at the top. Continue to use the other camera.
Roger. So here's a more higher speed section we just depicted in the anime battle, and here is where they could probably put a lot of speed. We're going to start very soon. We're coming out from the Hakone Turnpike Sky Lounge, and you can see Mount Fuji in the background looking majestic. We're going to go on the downhill of the famous Tsubaki Line now. We did it uphill just now and was cut off a little bit due to some storage problems, but we're going to now go on the downhill, and it's a long road, and this is also the defining battle in the Initial D anime series, which we're going to explore why this road is just so challenging. And just starting off, we have some medium speed corners, and already the road is not even. It's very bumpy, and this section here, you can see, has the faded center lines, so it's rhythmic, of course, but course knowledge, like I said, is very important in this road. It's a bit different from other normal togeis because it has a lot of corners that suddenly come up blind, and it's not really a road that you can take quite fast on the first try. In the first section here, as we're going down on a little higher speed section, and some of the corners are a bit off camber. I really need a car that has a compliant suspension to absorb all these bumps and to take it confidently. Steering very gently while putting weight on the brakes as you're turning into the corner. And wow, this view now here you can see of the Sagami Bay, downshift into third turn, looking around the corner, always keeping in mind that there might be traffic coming from the other Opposite direction, braking into the corner, keeping a lot of steering, and putting throttle progressively and get the nose to tuck in. And over here, road is really uneven. This is not really like a main trunk road for climbing the mountain, and here it's paved, but in certain sections it's not, so it can just surprise you very suddenly and suddenly goes into all the patches of tarmac. And some of these corners are a lot of double apexes and it can actually surprise you. So going down, and you can really feel how steep the incline is, as you can feel that the car is just rolling, increasing speed. So braking early on the downhill is very important. Being in the right gear before you enter the corner and not midway through the corner. Now, especially you don't want to do that in a rear-wheel drive car. You can jerk out the rear and make it lose grip, oversteering very suddenly. And you see this here through this section, camber changes quite a lot. And you're going to keep your throttle very balanced through the midsection of the corner. It's quite different from how you would drive a circuit. You can see how it goes up and down. Tight hairpin here, very, very tight. And if you're on the brakes too much, you can actually lock up your brakes. You can see because the downhill is a lot of momentum. I don't really have to use a lot of power. Now this Honda Civic is very light, just barely over a ton, and it just picks up speed so quickly. In fact, on roads like this, you don't need a lot of power to enjoy and get that handling. All you need is a car that has very balanced suspension, you have good tires, and a light car like this can really push pretty fast on a road like this. Now, there's one way to drive. You don't need to drive at first gear, second gear and get into the red line, because there's really no point when you can let it kind of cruise. What's more important is to understand the rhythm of the corners and where you need to be on the brakes, going in slow in, taking it past the apex, but as long as you can see the exit, turning as smoothly as possible, anticipating which turns you need more steering angle, tapping the brakes as you're going into the higher speed corners. You can get carried away really easily if you're not careful. Here's the high speed section. Curves can look deceptive here, and as you're going into some of these corners, it's very deceptive for how deep the corners actually go in. Steering and keeping as you can away from the center line to give yourself a bit more leeway, just in case bikes like that come up in the opposite direction. This is the essence of driving safely, and with Japanese mountain roads, it's always mirrors around some of these corners, giving them a quick check before turning in, being always aware what your rear tires are doing. More bikes coming up here again. Brake, turn. Be aware where your tires are on the road, or which position it is. This part is really smooth. The incline is not very steep, but it changes suddenly through the next part once we get through the middle part of this section of the Tsubaki Line. And here's where really, like I think in the anime, they get a lot of speed. Oh, look at that. That's an Isuzu Piazza, a very rare JDM car. One of Isuzu's last sports cars, or cars that they made. Not very well known. Very nice to see rare cars up here, the road, but also understanding how much steering angle you need and where to place your hands. So the half feeding technique like this works very well on the tight hairpin corners. If you know what's coming up, you've got to prepare your hands to steer a bit more. And we're coming up to a hairpin very soon as we're going down, and here the road gets very rough, very easy to lose traction if you don't have compliant suspension and brakes that are upgraded in order to reduce fade. It's always better to take some of these corners slower than what you can. Now, it's a theory about going 70% maximum on the street to keep it safe and fun. So this corner, I know it's a hairpin, downshift, put my hand a bit further up to create that steering angle. The other half is stability. Get out the corner, tap on the brakes, let's get the front grip, close through in succession, slow in, watch for traffic. And of course, as you can see here, a lot of trees create a huge shade, and if it's a bright day, you can create some glare points if the sun's in your face. And just suddenly as you mid round the corner, you know, going around the corner, you can't really see because of the sun's glare, and that's something to be always aware of. It's bright and dark as you're just going in and out. So understanding this is also very important. These characteristics of the road. I had to learn it by heart, going slow but confidently. Here it's not much of a steep decline, almost flat nearing the third quarter, where roads get smoother. You see the red strips, that means the corner is very sharp. Second gear, power out. Braking as you're going for the corner. Hope you guys enjoyed this little video of pure drives, and let us know in the comments what other roads you'd like us to try from your favorite anime series or games. Hope we can bring that to you in real life. And that's all from us until the next episode. Peace out.